Over to Sally Ann.
Thank you, Laura. Teenagers can have a very active lifestyle these days, balancing school, extracurricular activities, family, friends. And when you throw dating into the mix, things can become really hectic. And today, as we wrap up our series dedicated to teens, we want to focus on relationships and these relationships with parents, as well as recognizing abusive relationships with a boyfriend or girlfriend. And here with more is youth and adolescent counselor, Dr. Tamika Bob Warren. And Dr. Warren, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
First of all, let's talk about dating.
Yes.
When should parents consider allowing their teenager to date? Because on one hand, we want to bring up children that are socially knowledgeable before they go off to college.
Sure.
We want to make sure that they know how to relate to the opposite sex. But at the same time, we don't want to let them date too early when they may not be able to handle it.
Yes, and it's a case-by-case basis. You need to observe your teen and find out when they're mature enough to go into this dating stage. And I wouldn't necessarily put an age on it, but you need to know your teen and know when you can trust them enough, because you definitely don't want to shelter them. And that is the problem that parents usually experience, because then when they go off to college, it's like, wow, there's a new world out there. So you want to get them to that stage when you can trust them and teach them the appropriate dating rules.
And let's talk about dating for the teenager. And there are some definite warning signs. Sometimes people confuse jealousy with love. They say, well, if he or she is so jealous of me, that must mean this person loves me.
Correct.
And that's not the case.
Yes, definitely. You want to be aware of that, because nowadays we have our teens who have the wrong perceptions of love. They don't know how to give love, and they don't know how to receive love. So when the dating partner says, hey, I don't want you to go to that school dance, and they try to isolate them from family and friends, that's definitely a warning sign that there's some possible or potential abuse.
So it's the very first sign that someone's trying to control you, perhaps control the people you're around, putting down your friends and saying, trying to isolate you to him or herself. You should nip that in the bud?
Exactly. Absolutely. You want to nip that in the bud. You want to have someone to talk to, whether it's a parent, a teacher, a school administrator. You want to seek help, but you definitely want to end it, because you don't want to get to that really dangerous stage.
And it gets worse? Statistics indicate that?
Statistics indicate that it does get worse, so you want to nip that in the bud early on.
And we have some of the things, if the person has mood swings, of course, if there's any alcohol or drug use, explosive anger, isolates you from your friends or family, verbally abusive, because sometimes we have to talk about that a little bit. Emotional abuse is abuse.
It is exactly. It's not just physical abuse. It's not just hitting or pushing, but it's actually talking in a negative fashion. So it's all different types of things that constitute abuse, and that can be verbal and or physical and or emotional.
If that person makes you feel badly about yourself, you need to get away from that person. Of course, if the person threatens violence. Now, let's talk about what the warning signs are for parents to know that their teen might be experiencing some problems, and we have those up on the screen.
Sure, and definitely, of course, with all parents, you want to maintain that open and honest relationship with your teen, so that you're aware if they're exhibiting any of these signs. And definitely physical signs of injury. You see any bruises or scars, failing grades. If your teen has always done well, but all of a sudden the grades have dropped, that could be a sign. And truancy, of course, dropping out of school. You find out that they're home during the daytime, or the teacher has reported that they're not there. Also, changes in mood, kind of up and down. 1 minute we're happy, 1 minute we're not. And then emotional outbursts, and of course use of drugs and alcohol. And isolation is a really big clue. Just, if they're used to sitting in the family room and all of a sudden they have to be in their room with the door closed and they never want to be around. And usually that could be a clue that they're hiding something.
All right. Well, some very good tips. And thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Tamika Bob Warren. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, if you suspect your teen is in an abusive relationship, there is a hotline that he or she can call for help. It's the National Teen Dating Abuse Hotline. The number is on the screen. It's toll-free. It's 1-866-331-9474. It's now 7:20.